think I'm done with that example from going on. So they've been burning books to burn away the information and of the ancient times, and this is one of their plans, what they want to do. You can stop the video if you want to and read it for yourself, if you have the time. Right. So I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. Now going back to over here, the book of Joshua, chapter 8, verse 12. And he took about 5,000 men and set them to lie in ambush between Bethel and Ai on the west side of the city. And when they had set the people, even all the host that was on the north of the city, that liers in wait on the west of the city, and their liers in wait on the west of the city, Joshua went that night into the midst of the valley. So they was on the west, which is here, and this is east, yeah. They was on the west of the city, which is here, and then they set that ambush up between Bethel and Ai. And it came to pass, when the king of Ai saw it, that they hasted and rose up early, and the men of the city went out against Israel to battle, he and all his people, at a time appointed, before the plain. But it was not that there were liars in ambush against him behind the city. And Joshua and all Israel made as if they were beaten before them, lying to them, and fled by the way of the wilderness. Yeah, that's what you do in war tactics. It's not a liar. You lied to me. Right, so it says here, and all the people that were in Ai were called together to pursue after them. So the people that was there, they was called to go, hey, let's go get him. We got him on the ropes. And they pursued after Joshua and were drawn away from the city. And there was not a man left in Ai or Bethel. So that shows you that the people of Bethel also joined in, because they was like, fuck it, they're going to come after us also. Because that is what we will do. Because we would, that was the plan. We was going to kill them all. And they knew. Their heart melted for the fact that we crossed over Jordan and started butchering Jericho, which was near Jordan River. We just did. And they knew. They knew like we was going to kill them all. They knew. So they was like, fuck it, let's join together. Let's join forces. You gonna need to. Right, so Bethel and Ai. So they start joining them. Go back over here. Hey, didn't I color this? I actually did color this. Then it didn't stick. Okay, cool. That went not out after Israel. So all the men, right? Men. And they left the city open and pursued after Israel. And the Most High said unto Joshua, stretch out the spear that is in thine hand toward Ai, for I will give it into thine hand. And Joshua stretched out the spear that he had in his hand toward the city. And this is the same thing that Moses did. Remember, Moses, he lifted up his hand. Let me see. Exodus chapter 17, verse 11. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. They won. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. So we was, hey man, that's crazy, man. Think about it, man. We was fighting them, and then when Moses' hand was in the air, we started to win and stuff like that. We was winning. But when his hand were down, and we started to lose. Hey, that's crazy, man. But Moses' hands were heavy. Yeah, man. Why don't you try it? Keep your hand up in the air like that, and see what happens to you. Your hand is gonna get tired. And he was strong. Let that sink in. He was stronger than us. Okay. Moses was killing giants. In the book of Joshua 13, it's gonna tell you that he was killing giants. So he wasn't no weak man. I'll tell you that. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed on his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So that's how we won there. And Joshua did the same thing to a certain degree. He stretched out his hand toward he stretched out his hand with a spear in his hand toward the city. And the ambush arose quickly out of their place, right? Behind them, the ambush arose when he pointed. So go get him. Here. Right. So going on. Let me see. Oh yeah. And they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand. So as soon as he stretched out his hand, they ran and entered into the city and took it and hasted and set it on fire. And hasted and set the city on fire. And when the men of Ai looked behind them, they saw, and behold, the smoke of the city ascended up to heaven. And they had no more power to flee this way or that way. And the people that fled to the wilderness turned back upon the pursuers. Right, so now they're turning around because they was fleeing into the wilderness of Bethaven. And then, then they turned around and started to kill them now, because the red is the men of Ai. The blue is the Israelite retreat, fake retreating. And these are the Israelites in ambush. The Roman era, they also came into this land and stuff like that. So you see, these Romans also had possession over the land of Israel. Remember? And they also had records. They had the records also. So these are not different, but multiple, I'll say that. Multiple people they have the record off of. Because the Canaanites also had records of these things that happened to them. Of course they're going to write about it. That's why they never forgot us. That's why they hate us to this day. And if you don't think that the African hate you, they don't like you if they don't. They fucking hate you, okay? They call you slave. I'm not talking about the West Africans. I'm talking about the East Africans. They don't like you if you didn't know. Of course, not 100% of them. Not 100% of the so-called black people like each other neither. Do they? Do every so-called Negroes, do they love themselves? Do they love you? Do they love their own people? They don't even love their goddamn reflection in the mirror. Look at them. Their hair is yellow, cheeks is red. Really? You think they love them? They love themselves? So don't be surprised when another nation hates you too. You don't even love yourself. Shit. Going on. They turned back on their pursuers. Verse 21. And when Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had taken the city, and that the smoke of the city ascended, then they turned again and slew the men of Ai. And the other issued out of the city against them, right? The little small fractions that they had among them and stuff like that. Because it says here, no man. Yeah, not men of war. Because there were people still there. It's going to show you, because we killed the women and the children too. So they were in the midst of Israel, some on this side and some on that side. Because we ambushed them. So we was killing them from the front and the back. And they smote them, and they killed them. So that they let none of them remain or escape. And the king of Ai they took alive, and brought him to Joshua. And it came to pass, when Israel had made an end of slaying all the inhabitants of Ai in the field, in the wilderness wherein they chased them, and also in the wilderness, and when they were all fallen on the edge of the sword, until they were consumed, that all the Israelites returned to Ai. And what did we do there? And smote it with the edge of the sword. Who did we kill there? Well, I was going to say, and it was so that all that fell that day, both men and women, those were the ones that was left over in the city, were 12,000, even all the men of Ai. For Joshua drew not his hand back, wherewith he stretched out the spear, until he had utterly destroyed all the inhabitants of Ai. That's the same thing that happened with Moses. He stretched out his hand, and until they were dead, then he stopped. That That's a painful thing to do. I don't think you know that. But try and hold your hand stretched out with a spear in your, like a weapon in your hand. It doesn't even need to be a heavy weapon. Just do it. Do it for 30 minutes. See what happens to you. You're gonna start want to switch hands, man. You're gonna want to start switching hands. Only the cattle and the spoil of that city Israel took for a prey unto themselves, according unto the word of Yahweh, which he commanded Joshua. And Joshua burned Ai, and made it in heap forever, even a desolation unto this day. And the king of Ai he hanged on a tree until eventide. And as soon as the sun was down, Joshua commanded that they should take his carcass down from the tree, and cast it at the entering of the gate of the city. You could throw that piece of shit over there. And raised thereon a great heap of stones. You bury that fool under these rocks over here that remaineth unto this city, unto this day, sorry. And the reason why he hanged them until evening tide is because, or else the Lord will curse the land, because it says right here. Yeah, because it says right here in the book of Leviticus, Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, so he is worthy of to be put to death, and he be to be put to death, and what? And he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree. His body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. These devils, they was hanging us perpetually until the flesh started rotting. In slavery and after slavery, they was hanging us, and they hanged the Native Americans too. They hanged the Mexicans, and they was even hanging Sicilians and Irish back in those days too, because they know who their ancestors go back to. Those two, the Irish and the Sicilians. But anyway, so they was keeping our bodies until the flesh consumed off of the body, and then the loose bones would just break off, and then the neck would just break off, because that is what happens, because the skin is not holding it up no more, and the flesh is not between the bones anymore, that it holds it together, and then it's gonna fall off of itself. And you can't do that, because that's satanic, and you're gonna bring demons, you're gonna bring spirits, you're gonna bring crazy stuff, defile the land. Because it says right here, for he that is hanged is a curse of the Heavenly Father. You're cursed. You have people that commit suicide by hanging themselves. You are cursed. You don't know. You're cursed. You're cursed. You're cursed. I have seen a few hangings and stuff like that. Livegore.com. It's not a pretty sight. It's not something that you would, when you watch things like that, you'd be like, God damn, war is not funny. You see them cartel decapitations and them cartel crazy murderers and stuff like that. Yeah, you need to have a different type of spirit to actually do those type of things, man. You need to be up in a whole different mindset, man. War is not a fun thing. I have seen an Edomite, which I was laughing at. That I really don't have no problem with that. It's kind of funny. But if I see the Israelites, they murdering each other, I'm like, that's fucking bullshit, man. Even if I see some other heathen nations murdering each other, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not watching this shit. Blech. Sometimes I do watch it, because I see Edomites getting smoked. So it's funny. But they cut his balls off while he was alive. They tied him up, a soldier. I think he was from Ukraine or Russia, one of those two. They're both Edomites, so I don't give a shit. But I clicked on it, and I saw they was chopping his balls off. He was dickless. It was funny. Man, he was squirming like a little worm all over the place. Funny. And then they shot him in the head. They shouldn't have killed him. They should have just let him live, bald dickless, and bleed to death or something like that. Just keep him alive, man. But anyway, they killed him. So, but it's war is not a pretty sight. I'll just say that. If you really think you hate females, why don't you look at what the cartel is doing to the females, and then you'll be like, you know what? I don't think I want to do that there. Yeah, I had that. Sometimes you're really angry, you want to beat a bitch, because she did something fucked up. But if you see how they kill him over there, murdered him actually over there, you'd be looking at him, you know what? I think I'll smack her. I think I'll smack her a few times and then I just let her walk off into the sunset or something like that. Because doing that to her, that's kind of yeah, fucked up. I don't want to do that, you know, because you gonna need the spirit of the Lord to actually do these type of things. Once we get that spiritual power, then we gonna get them. That's not gonna be your anger, because the book of Ezekiel chapter 25 verse 12 until 14 or something like that, it says that my fury and my anger shall come upon you, and you shall do in them according to my fury and according to mine anger. So it's not going to be your anger. It's not going to be your fury. It's going to be the Lord's fury, and then you're going to shred them into pieces. You know? Okay. Just like how the Canaanites, when the giants, just like how they can just grab you and rip your arms out of your socket. That's how strong they were. So everybody knew that, and nobody could fight against them. But the Heavenly Father made it to where we could fight against them and prevail, and we did. We killed them. For he that is hanged is accursed of the Heavenly Father, that thy land be not defiled, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. Right. So, hanged people. You know how many hanged people in America have been just dangling over there? Okay? That land is cursed, man. That land is defiled. And that's also one of the reasons, because the blood of the saints is there. That's also one of the many millions of reasons why the land of America is going to be flattened with nuclear missiles by their own allies, first and foremost, right? Going on, and their enemies, of course. Right, so it says here, remained until this day. So that's why he cut them down, because, or else the land would be defiled, and he don't want that, because it's going to be our land. So yeah, Jericho, by the way, this day, Jericho, which is our land, well, in the midst of our land, we got that. But Jericho was cursed for a while, you know, until Elisha broke the curse of that region, place. And yeah, so going on. So it says here, verse 30, then Joshua built an altar unto Yahweh, the power of Israel, in Mount Ebal. And by the way, this is subtitle, an altar built in Mount Ebal. That's the subtitle. Yeah. So it says here, as Moses the servant of Yahweh commanded the children of Israel, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, an altar of whole stone. So what does that mean? An altar of whole stone. Lift up a tool here. Let me see something. Lift up thy tool. Where is it again? Lift. Yeah, Exodus. So let me see. Deuteronomy is there too. Oh yeah. Right. So it says it. Exodus chapter 20 verse 25. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. So what is hewn stone? Right. So this is hewn stone. You can't use this, even though it's beautiful. It looks pretty. You know, if you have a house built like with it, you know, it looks very, very beautiful actually. But you can't use this for the Lord, because once you use human tools upon it, then you have defiled it, and it's unclean now. You know, it's unclean, and you can't use it. You know, but it is beautiful when you see it like this. You know, this hewn stone, and even this here. You know, looks beautiful, but it's supposed to be actually one of nature, a natural altar stone, a natural stone that you just pick off of here, that is unworked by human hands, man's tools and stuff like that. You know, you have certain things like this, but this is man-made, of course. An altar. These are the type of heaps that the Israelites used to put. We just read about it. They put heaps of stones on his dead body like this. Right, and you have stones that are worked by nature itself. With worked, I mean, it's not a tool that made them smooth. It's actually the water, so it's nature itself made them smooth. So nature itself worked upon it in order to create these type of stones, because in the beginning they're rugged. For example, these type of stones, they haven't been touched by water like that, not flowing water, so it's not smooth. It's rigged, ridges and stuff like that. It could cut you. That's what I mean with rigged. But this one is not gonna cut you. It's gonna make you fall if you step on it, because it's smooth. If this one was big enough of like this, and then you would want to walk on it, you need to be very careful. You will break your hip bones if you're old. But yeah, so right. This one probably doesn't. What? Let's see, raging water here. I don't know. Okay, this one probably doesn't get washed over it, because if it got washed over, oh yeah, yeah, it's going down. I thought so. Like, huh? I see raging water here. No, it's actually going down. Here's like still water, kind of, and here it's going down. But yeah, the water doesn't go overflow over this, or else it would be smooth. But yeah, you can take these type of stones. Yeah, if they was to be unworked, unworked upon, like these boulders. Then you could take this and make a altar of it. You can't do this, of course, because then it's defiled, because a tool came upon it. Right, so yeah, there you have that part. Let me see the Deuteronomy. Here. Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 5. And there thou shalt build an altar unto Yahweh thy power, an altar of stones. So you can grab multiple stones. Thou shalt not lift up any iron tool upon it, nor wood, but it says here, thou shalt build an altar of Yahweh thy power, of whole stones, and thou shalt offer burnt offering thereon unto the Lord thy power. So yeah, it needs to be of whole stones, like those boulders that I showed you here, for example, whole stones. You can't cut it in pieces, you can't break them up. You gotta just find it in the woods or in the water, wherever you can find it. It needs to be a real boulder, never worked upon with human hands. And then, so not this. So going on. And it says, over which no man had lift up any iron, or wood, or anything. And they offered thereunto, and they offered thereon burnt offerings unto Yahweh, and sacrificed peace offerings. And he wrote there upon the stones a copy of the law of Moses, which he wrote in the presence of the children of Israel. So he did write upon it, but I don't know with what. Well, I just said no wood, but I don't know with what actually. It didn't say anything, because it says like no iron shall be. Oh, he probably wrote it with another stone. Probably wrote it with another stone. I'm not sure with what he wrote it, but yeah. Right, and, verse 33. And all Israel and their elders and officers and their judges stood on this side the ark, and on that side before the priests, the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Sometimes it's called the ark of the Lord, sometimes it's called the ark of the testimony, and I think another word, another name, but I forgot. So going on, as well the stranger as he that is born among them. So I'm gonna get to that later. Half of them over against Mount Gerizim, and half of them over against Mount Ebal, which is, where's Gerizim? Well, I don't see it here. Anyway, right, going on. as Moses, the servant of Yahweh, had commanded them, that they should bless the people of Israel. And afterward he read all the words of the law, the blessings and cursings, according to all that is written in the book of the law. There was not a word of all that Moses commanded which Joshua read not before all the congregation of Israel, with the women and the little ones and the strangers that were conversant among them. You might think that these are how you call those things again? Heathen nations? No, conversant, which goes into familiar with or knowledgeable about something. Now, these strangers were Israelite foreigners, as you can see here. Where did I put it? Here. Let's see, okay, here. Right, now check this out. This is an example. This is the book of Exodus chapter 12 verse 43. And Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. So now it says no stranger shall eat thereof, right? But in 48 it says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So here it says no stranger shall eat, and here it says a stranger shall eat. So it might contradict itself if you read it in the English, but if you go to the Hebrew, it says here, and the Lord and Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. But if you look at this word, it'd be like it's two words there. So you type on one and you click on the other one also. So Hebrew 11:21 is the first. It says son, and there's no such thing as children in the Hebrew because it doesn't exist. The Edomites come up with that because they say something like, "Hey guys, let's go on, guys," because they're talking to boys and girls at the same time. They call guys, because they're weird like that. But in the other languages, you don't have the word children, especially in the Hebrew. You don't. You only have sons and daughters. So it's not a female thing. It's sons, grandson, male child. Member of the group, actually a male member of the group, not just member of the group, sorry. Sons. Right, people. Well, no. It's actually sons as a nation of sons. It's just son. It's just son. That's what it is. And the other one was foreign, alien, foreigners. That which is foreign, alien, which is from another country, right? So this is nakar. So it says here, and Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no son of a stranger eat thereof. So no son of a nakar shall eat thereof. But if you go here, the book of Exodus 12:48, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover, but it says here he's not allowed. But this one is a God, which is Hebrew 16:16, God, which means though conceded rights, of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. And who has the right to have inheritance in the land? Because it says here, a newcomer lacking inherited rights, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. Who has the right to the nation of Israel? Only the Israelites. Only the Israelites. Because if you read the book of Numbers chapter 27 and Numbers chapter 36, it will explain to you that you cannot just come there in the land of the midst of the Israelites and just grab land. You need to be of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in order for you to be able to get land. Or else it would be a contradiction. And the Bible is not a contradiction. People contradict themselves because they don't understand what it says and what it means. But if you do know, then you're going to understand like, oh yeah, because if you read the book of, I'm not going to read it right now. I'm going to talk about it. I already did a video about it, and I don't want to make this video too long because I already see like an hour and a half. Sorry about that. So if you have, for example, here Asher, right? And I'm going to give you the examples of the book of the Numbers chapter 27 and Numbers chapter 36, right? So let's say Naphtali, and there's, Okay, then there is a man in Asher that has only daughters. This is the exact example of, well, not exactly because there was actually Manasseh. But anyway, I'll just give a quick example. If you read the book of Numbers chapter 27 and Numbers chapter 36 for yourself, then you will see. So, if you have, for example, Naphtali, right? And then in Asher, there's a man, right, that has like 6 daughters, and he doesn't have a son. And then he dies. His bloodline is done. His family bloodline is done right there, because his daughters will receive bloodline from another man. So then his inheritance would be lost. And then if Naphtali was to marry one of the sons, let's say that son, his daughters were given this patch of land by their father. Okay, so then Naphtali now was to come, for example, Naphtali now was to come and marry that man, his daughter, one of his daughters. Then eventually, the land of Naphtali would then grow by this much, and then it could grow by this, by this, by this. Before you know it, he can take over the whole land by marrying their daughters. But that's not allowed. You are not allowed to do that. That's in the book of the Numbers chapter 27 and Numbers 36. It explains to you that every man should stay to his own forefathers given heritage land. You cannot come into another tribe and then take their land. It is stealing without stealing, because you're marrying into their family, and then therefore the inheritance become yours. It becomes yours because you're going to be there, and then you're going to take that over. You're going to live in the land where her forefather used to be, but he's dead, and now you're going to take over that land and that patch of land, and then you're going to make children, and your children are going to take that patch of land, and then so forth, and then you will be able to do it here. You will be able to do it here, because a lot of more places will have a man that is that died without giving birth to sons. He only has daughters. So now you can literally take their heritage. No, you can't, because that's against the law. So the point is, a heathen nation cannot come. So even the Israelites cannot steal from each other, inheritance land from each other. How much more a heathen nation? Like I said, read the book of Numbers chapter 27, and 36. Those two. Then you will see that, so it's not allowed. Yeah, it isn't. So how much more can an Armenian come in the midst of Manasseh and start taking land there? He can't. Or get inherited land. He can't. Naphtali is not even allowed to go here in the midst of Manasseh and start demanding land or asking land. Not even asking. Begging. Not even nothing. You're not going to get it, because the Lord said, no, I don't want you to do that. Read the book of Numbers 27 and Numbers 36. Let me get that real quick, because it says right here. Numbers 27 and Numbers 36. I'm trying to get to the point. Okay, he had no sons. Okay, that's the one. And it says, verse 4, why should the name of our father be done away from among his family, because he had no son? Give unto us therefore a possession among the brethren of our father, his uncles and stuff like that, right? And Moses brought their case before the Lord. Verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, get thee up into this mount Abarim. No. That's too far. Sorry. Actually, it's the yellow part. Verse 6. And Moses spake unto Moses, saying, the daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren, and thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. So, back in the days, the father would leave everything to his son, but in this case, he didn't have sons, so he had to leave it for his daughters. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a man die and have no son, then ye shall cause his inheritance to pass unto his daughter. And if he have no daughters, so if he have no sons and no daughters, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he had no brethren, then ye shall give it his inheritance unto his father's brethren, which is his uncle, which is his grandfather's seed still, because his grandfather created his father, and his grandfather also created his uncle, which is his father's brother, right? So you give it unto them. It's their thing from that same tribe, and that tribe was in this case the tribe of Manasseh, right? So it says, verse 11, and if his father have no brethren, let's say he's the only child, his father is the only child, and his father is the only child, his grandfather. Well, then you go to his grandfather's father's brother. Somewhere is going to be a brother, right? Then ye shall give his inheritance unto his kinsman that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as Yahweh commanded Moses. Now, in Numbers 36, it goes more into details. Zelophehad from the tribe, from the families of Manasseh, from the tribe of Manasseh. And it says here from, let me see, verse 3. And if they be married to any of the sons of the other tribe, so if the daughters was to marry to a son of another tribe, of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our father. Right, I just gave you the example. If you are here and then a Naphtali comes and sleeps with, lays and lives with the brother, with the family that has no sons, only daughters, and then they can come and eventually this land will be theirs then, right? That's what is being suggested there. But here, right, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. I just gave you the example about the here and here. He comes and takes here. If this family only has daughters and stuff like that, right? Going on. And when the year of Jubilee of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel, according to the word of Yahweh, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph have said well. Yeah. This is the thing which Yahweh doth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. Why? So shall the inheritance of the children of Israel the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter that possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife, here it comes, shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father. So, if one of the daughters of, for example, Asher, well, in this case it's Manasseh because it was Manasseh, but let me just use this one because, yeah, right. It's the same thing, but then I just use another tribe. So, if, let's say this guy lived here, or he lived here, whatever, wherever, and he was from the tribe of Asher, and he had 4 or 5 daughters, and no sons, and he died. Now the daughters are not allowed to take a Naphtali, wow, Naphtali son, they are not allowed to take this as their husband. Then none of the 5 daughters, even if he had 100,000 daughters, none of them were allowed to take a husband from another tribe. You know why? Because this tribe would then therefore have inheritance here in their land, and that is not allowed. So if a man has only daughters, right, then the daughters, and then he dies, the daughters are only allowed to marry one of their own tribe. They're not allowed to marry any of the other 12 tribes. Why? So that the inheritance of her forefather Asher shall not be given unto the forefather of Issachar or Ephraim or Benjamin or Simeon. That's how you keep the inheritance within one land, if you have only daughters. Okay, right. So if that is the case, How come then, therefore, that a stranger can come and take inheritance on the land? They can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. The Heavenly Father didn't create it like that. It's even impossible for an Israelite to go from here, Naphtali, and then go here and start having the daughters here and then take the inheritance of their father, which he got from his forefather, the patriarch Asher himself. He can't. You can't. It's not allowed. So, how much more can some heathen come and then take land here as inheritance? Like, you can't. It's not like that. It's impossible. So, and by the way, let's say Asher, the same family, same scenario, but now he has 4 daughters and 1 son. Okay, now the daughters can marry any tribe, because there is a son, and that son will carry on the bloodline of Asher, and then stay in the region of Asher, and have land in the land of Asher, and that land will always stay to the forefather Asher, and not to go to Naphtali. And the same thing vice versa. If Naphtali, one of the families in Naphtali, like a person, has only daughters, then she is only allowed to marry their forefather, so that, their tribe, so that the inheritance of their forefather Naphtali stays within the border of their forefather Naphtali, which he had been given unto him by the Lord through Joshua. I hope I explained that well. So when it speaks of a newcomer lacking inheritance, that's not talking about a heathen. Because Yahweh Shai said that in the New Testament. He said that they are allowed to get land also in the land of Israel. That's not talking about heathens. That's talking about a descendant Israelite that was in another place living as a heathen, and now he comes back to the fold because he's a lost sheep of the house of Israel. He is allowed to get land back. Why? Because he's one of these tribes. That's why. That's the only reason he would be allowed to have inherited land, because it says here, though conceded rights. So what is conceded? Conceded means admit or agree that something is true after first denying or resisting it. And that is what the Jews used to be doing back in the days. They used to deny the Israelite foreigners and resist against the Israelite foreigners. Why? Because they did not accept them as as Israelites. Just like how you have nowadays, you have damn, I throw this dry here, for example. Let's say, for example, you are from Jamaica. Your ancestors, let's say here, your grandfather is from Jamaica, right? But when he was young, he moved to America, and there he had children, which is then your father, and then you are born. So you're the second generation here in the land. Now you want to go back to vacation to here, or maybe you want to even live there. The people here will not accept you as a Jamaican. They're gonna say, you're a Yankee boy, you're a descendant, but you're a Yankee boy. You don't know us. You don't know. You never grow around. You grow up around here. You do like them white folks do, the stuff like that. So they're not 100% gonna see you as themselves. Well, that's the same thing that the Israelites used to do with the Israelites that was living in other regions and stuff like that. When they came back, let's say this is Israel. When they came back to Israel, they was looking at them like, ew, look at his clothing. Look at him, he's different. Look at how he eats. Look at what he eats. Now, this guy is weird, man. And then they would kind of denounce you from having a portion in the land. But that is not allowed, because the Lord said that, no, you can't do that. These are the sons of Abraham. Just like even the rich man. Luke 19, verse 2. And behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus, which was chief among the publicans, and he was rich. Yahushua said, verse 9, and Yahushua said unto him, yeah, that rich man, this day is salvation come to this house, for so much as he also is a son of Abraham. Because the other people, they hated it that he went to him. He was like, hey, this guy's a sinner. How can you go to him? He was basically living like a heathen. And everybody knew he's sinning. So that shows you that back in the days, sinning was like being a sodomite in the 80s around Jake. Where they would gay bash you. You know? But then for example, somebody came to him and he's like, hey, this guy's a filthy beast. Well, why are you hanging around with him? He's a devil. Then the Lord would say, well, he's a son of Abraham also. So I'm just giving you an example, of a fact. Right. So now that part. So yeah. So when it says when it says God, and it is a stranger, it is an Israelite foreigner, or Israelite that might not know the customs and stuff like that, but he is an Israelite by blood. He is the son of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and therefore he is a newcomer lacking inheritance rights, though succeeded rights. So he's lacking the inheritance rights, but because conceded, right? Though it was denied to him and resisted unto him, he was resisted and rejected, but still he deserves it. So that is the stranger that is allowed to keep the Passover. He is an Israelite. He's not a Nakar, which is here. He's not that one. He's an Israelite foreigner, this one. The Gar thing. The Gar. Oh, where is it? Oh, yeah, here. Gar. And then, I think the last one then, which is, oh yeah, Joshua 8. You're going to see the word stranger here too, 32 if I'm correct. No. Here, Joshua 8 and 33. As well the stranger as he that was born among them. Which is Hebrews 16:16, which is God. And if I'm correct, here also God. So going back to over here, Joshua 8 and the little ones and the strangers that were conversant among them. So it's talking about the Israelite foreigners that were or didn't know, but they are allowed to have rights in the land. And you can only be an Israelite in order for you to lack inheritance in the land and then getting it back. Because if you are not an Israelite, you cannot lack inheritance in the land, because the land was never given unto you to lack in the first place. So somebody from somewhere else, like an Ammonite, can't just come here and get land, inherited land, because you need to have inherited from your forefather through Joshua, sanctioned by the Lord, Heavenly Father Yahweh. So yeah, there you have it. So the heathen nations can never come into the land and inherit anything, and Judah cannot go to Reuben and start inheriting land there. That's not allowed. That's against the scriptures. That's against the explanation of the book of Numbers chapter 36, and which goes a little bit more deeper in it compared to Numbers chapter 27. So yeah, with that, I think I'm done. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom. I need to go drink water or something. Shalom.